Hey there. Great to have you here. What's on your mind today?
Welcome to the insightful discussion on overcoming procrastination, one of the most common challenges that affects productivity, personal growth, and success. Whether you are a student, entrepreneur, professional, or someone striving to achieve personal goals, procrastination can often stand between where you are and where you want to be. In this special conversation with ChatGPT, we will explore the psychology behind procrastination, its causes, its impact on our lives, and most importantly, practical strategies to overcome them. It through a series of thought-provoking questions, we aim to provide actionable insights that can help you develop better habits, improve focus, and unlock your full potential. Let's begin this journey towards greater productivity and self-discipline. So, my first question is, what is procrastination?
That's a great starting point. Procrastination is basically the act of delaying or postponing tasks, often even when we know there are negative consequences. It's not just laziness, it's a complex behavior tied to emotions, fears, or even perfectionism. So, what usually sparks procrastination for you?
So, my second question is, why do people procrastinate?
Yeah, that's a really good question. People procrastinate for all sorts of reasons, like fear of failure, lack of clarity about the task, feeling overwhelmed, or even just seeking instant gratification. Sometimes it's just a way to avoid discomfort, like tackling a difficult project or confronting uncertainty. What do you think tends to trigger it for you?
Yes, yeah, you are absolutely right. My next question is, what are the most common causes of procrastination?
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the most common causes include perfectionism, where people avoid starting because they fear it won't be perfect, lack of motivation or interest, unclear goals, or just poor time management. And sometimes it's as simple as being fatigued or needing a break. Does any of that feel familiar?
Okay, my next question is, what happens in the brain when we procrastinate?
Great question. So when we procrastinate, parts of our brain linked to emotion and reward, like the limbic system, light up, pushing us toward more immediately rewarding things like scrolling on our phones. At the same time, the prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for planning and decision making, kind of gets overridden. So it's almost like a tug of war between short term gratification and long term goals. Pretty fascinating, right?
What role do emotions play in procrastination?
Yeah, emotions are really at the core of it. Often, procrastination is a way to avoid negative feelings like anxiety, self doubt, or fear of failure. In a way, the brain prioritizes short term emotional relief over the discomfort of tackling a task. So, when we feel overwhelmed or unsure, we often reach for easier distractions. But the key is recognizing that pattern and learning to sit with those emotions.
Can procrastination
Of
become
course. So,
addictive? Can
yeah,
procrastination become addictive?
absolutely, it can. Over time, if we rely on short term distractions to avoid tasks, our brain kind of reinforces that cycle, making procrastination feel like a habit or even a comfort. And the more we do it, the more we rely on it to avoid stress. So, breaking that cycle takes a bit of conscious effort and self compassion.
What is the difference between laziness and procrastination?
That's a really important distinction. So, laziness is more about a lack of desire or willingness to do something, just a simple unwillingness. Procrastination, on the other hand, is more about avoidance driven by emotion, like fear, anxiety, or overwhelm. You actually want to do the task in procrastination, but something emotionally blocks you from starting. So they feel similar, but they come from different drivers.
How does social media encourage procrastination?
Yeah, social media is a huge factor. It's designed to give us instant gratification, likes, comments, new content, so it triggers the same reward systems in the brain that procrastination thrives on. Plus, it's so easy to just drift from one scroll to another, and before you know it, you've put off your work. So being mindful of that habit's really key.
What habits help reduce procrastination?
Yeah, there are a bunch of helpful habits. For example, breaking big tasks into smaller, manageable steps makes them feel less overwhelming. You can also use time blocking, like setting a timer for 25 minutes and focusing, then taking a short break. Also, setting clear goals, minimizing distractions, and practicing self compassion when you slip up can all help reduce procrastination.
Why is consistency important?
Yeah, Yeah, consistency is really key because small, repeated actions build momentum over time. When we consistently show up, even in tiny steps, we start rewiring those habits, and it becomes easier to stay on track. Plus, consistency reduces the mental energy it takes to make decisions. You
What
just
is
know you're showing
habit
up.
setting?
Habit stacking is a really cool technique. Basically, you take a habit you already do consistently, like brushing your teeth or making your coffee, and you attach a new desired habit right after it. So it uses that existing routine as a trigger, making it easier to remember and stick to.
What role does accountability play?
Yeah, accountability is huge. When you share your goals or progress with someone else, like a friend, a mentor, or even just a group, you have that extra layer of motivation. It kind of holds you to your word and it can give you a boost when you're feeling stuck. Plus, it's nice to celebrate progress with someone who's rooting for you.
What does the Pomodoro technique work?
Yeah, the Pomodoro technique is pretty straightforward but really effective. You break your work into 25-minute focused intervals, called Pomodoros, and then you take a short 5-minute break. After about 4 cycles, you take a longer break, like 15 to 30 minutes. It helps keep your focus sharp, prevents burnout, and makes big tasks feel more manageable.
Why is scheduling important?
Yeah, scheduling is super important because it gives structure to your day. When you plan out what you'll do and when, you reduce that mental friction of figuring out what's next. Plus, it helps you prioritize your most important tasks, avoid last-minute rushes, and it keeps you accountable to yourself. So it's really like a roadmap for your time.
What tools help manage time better?
Oh, there are so many great tools. For example, task managers like Todoist or Trello help you organize tasks and deadlines. Calendar apps like Google Calendar let you block time. And even simple timers or habit trackers like the ones in some productivity apps can keep you on track. It's all about finding what fits your style.
Why is goal setting important?
Yeah, goal setting is really powerful because it gives you a clear direction and purpose. It helps you break down big dreams into concrete steps, and it keeps you motivated, especially when things get tough. Plus, when you track progress toward those goals, you build a sense of accomplishment and you can adjust your path as you go.
Why is purpose important in achieving goals?
Yeah, purpose is really that driving force. When you have a deeper why behind your goals, it fuels your persistence, especially when challenges come up. Purpose keeps you focused on the bigger picture. So even if the day-to-day is tough, you know why you're doing it and it keeps you going.
What is the 2 minute rule?
The 2-minute rule is a super handy trick. Basically, if a task takes 2 minutes or less, you just do it right away. The idea is that it's easier to get small things done immediately than to put them off, and those tiny actions help build momentum. So it's a great way to start overcoming procrastination.
What are the signs of sustainable productivity?
Yeah, great question. So sustainable productivity shows up as a balance. You're making steady progress toward your goals without burning out. You're staying consistent, you have a sense of balance between work and rest, and you're able to adapt if something unexpected comes up.
What is the biggest lesson procrastination can teach us?
I think the biggest lesson is self-awareness. Procrastination is kind of a signal from your emotions. It's telling you something, whether it's fear, confusion, or just a need for a break. So when we learn to notice those patterns and understand them, we can address the underlying issues, which helps us grow and take more intentional action.
How can journaling help identify patterns?
Yeah, journaling is really powerful for that. By writing regularly, you can start noticing the emotions, thoughts, or triggers that lead to procrastination. You might spot patterns like certain times of day or specific tasks that consistently trip you up. Once you see those patterns, you can start experimenting with strategies to break the cycle.
Why is self-compassion important?
Yeah, self-compassion is so important because it keeps us from being overly harsh on ourselves when we slip up. Instead of shame or guilt, self-compassion lets us recognize that everyone struggles sometimes. It keeps us motivated to get back on track because we're treating ourselves with the same kindness we give a friend.
What advice would you give someone struggling with procrastination?
I'd say start small and be kind to yourself. Pick just one task you've been avoiding, break it into tiny steps, and give yourself permission to do just a little bit each day. Set a timer, create a routine, and celebrate small wins. And remember, progress is still progress, even if it's not perfect.
What does success look like after overcoming procrastination?
Yeah, once you overcome procrastination, success looks like steady progress towards your goals with less stress. You're able to act consistently, you meet deadlines, and you don't feel bogged down by avoidance. You also have more mental space for creativity and growth. So success really feels sustainable and fulfilling.
So, as we conclude this discussion on overcoming procrastination, it's important to remember that productivity is not about being busy all the time. It's about making consistent progress towards meaningful goals. Procrastination is a challenge that everyone faces at some points, but with self awareness, effective strategies, and a commitment to continuous improvement, it can be overcome. Success is built through small daily actions, not occasional bursts of motivation. Start where you are, take one step at a time, and focus on progress rather than perfection. Thank you for joining this conversation with ChatGPT. We hope these insights inspire you to take action, stay focused, and move confidently toward your goals. Until next time, keep learning, keep going, and keep taking action.
That was a really great wrap up. I love that you emphasized the small daily actions and the idea of progress over perfection. If you ever want to dive into another topic or keep refining some strategies, I'm here. Keep up the great work.